Welcome back to the program, and now it is time to talk about the WWE for this week. And Monday Night Raw, the last show before they go into high definition. And they made a big deal over little nothing, in my opinion, but that's just me. Anyway, show started off. Jeff Hardy came out to the ring, challenged Randy Orton to a match tonight, or that night, and Randy Orton said that the only way he was going to wrestle him was if Jeff Hardy put the Intercontinental title on the line, which he did, which will be our main event of the evening. And then we had the Royal Rumble qualifying match. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit itchy, but that's maybe TMI. Shawn Michaels going up against Trevor Murdoch. You sort of knew who was going to win that match. Excuse me. Although the great thing about that match was the ending, because the fake out of Sweet Chin Music, and then I guess you could say that Michaels used a reversed figure 4 leg lock on Murdoch to get the win. So Shawn Michaels is in the Royal Rumble. We'll talk about that in a minute or two. But I just want to say Trevor Murdoch, he's one of those improved guys who's lost a lot of weight, in the last year. And I was talking to my friend when we were watching the match. It looked like have you ever seen an episode of South Park where Cartman is, in the episode, he's Jesus and he's supposed to stay on the cross, and by the end of the episode he's like as thin as one of those African kids, no disrespect. That's what I think Trevor Murdoch is trying to be. Skinny as an African kid. Other highlights. Forget the Divas match. I'm not talking about that this week. Mr. Kennedy with a very good promo again. And then Triple H fought Snitsky. You'd expect not a good match. And then Triple H with his impression of that famous Apple commercial 1984 where he throws the sledgehammer in through the screen. Yeah, it was a terrible ripoff of that famous commercial. But you know what? Why don't we just fast forward to the end of the show? And yeah, Ric Flair won, beat William Regal. We all knew that. But let's fast forward to the end of the show. Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton for the Intercontinental title. Bell rings, low blow, bell rings, match is over. Now, it's about 11:05 Eastern Time when this happened. And I thought to myself, this is such a bullshit way for the show to end. I mean, in the way that you give him a low blow, the match is over. Now, don't get me wrong. I did not want to see what could be the main event of the Royal Rumble 2 weeks before the actual show. Now, in hindsight, they did a very good job, unlike they did the Bobby Lashley test match from last year, where they had the actual match 5 days before the pay-per-view. So, Randy Orton was about to put Jeff Hardy away, but Jeff Hardy came back. They fought all the way up to the stage. Randy Orton took a sick back body drop to off the stage onto a box, and then Jeff Hardy climbed all the way, not all the way to the top, but I'd say close to the top, performed a swanton bomb on the Jeff Hardy. It was just unbelievable. I think of all those, when they make a film, a highlight reel of Jeff Hardy doing the swanton bomb, that one is going to be number 1, in my opinion, on that list. And how could I almost forget the mini Royal Rumble match with Hornswoggle, and then you had mini Mr. Kennedy. That was pretty funny. Him trying to get the microphone. That was pretty funny. Mini Mankind, Mini Batista, Mini Kane. And Mini Kane, of all of them, he probably was the best athlete. He was probably the best athlete of all those, of the midget wrestlers. And then Jerry Lawler, when you hear Great Khali's music comes on, he's like, "Oh, look, JR, puppies, this will be a mini Great Khali." And then the actual Khali comes out. And you know, it's like, oh, you know he's going to come out. He's actually going to come out. So, and then Finlay made the save and all that stuff. So, on that note, it is time to go to the Royal Rumble report. And the Royal Rumble is only 9 days away, live on pay-per-view, and in high definition, I might add, or on WWE.com. Look for more info. Here's the current card for the Royal Rumble on January the 27th. JBL, who had a very good promo this week, will go up against Chris Jericho. Ric Flair puts his career on the line against MVP. The World Heavyweight Championship will be defended as Edge defends the title against Rey Mysterio. And as I just talked about, Randy Orton, could his days as the WWE Champion be coming to an end? He puts the gold on the line against Jeff Hardy, who looks for double gold. But ladies and gentlemen, like I have said, for the last 2 weeks, all those matches pale in comparison to the main event, the 30-man Royal Rumble match. It's every man for himself, with the winner to main event WrestleMania 24. Right now, here are the official participants as of this moment in the Royal Rumble. Umaga, Snitsky, the World Tag Team Champions, Hardcore Holly and Cody Rhodes. The WWE Tag Team Champions, The Miz and John Morrison. Hornswoggle, Mick Foley, Batista. Ah, damn it, we got Tony Schiavone. But that's not the point. Also in it, last year's Royal Rumble winner, The Undertaker. Kane, the man who's eliminated more opponents in Royal Rumble history in one Royal Rumble. Jamie Noble, Finlay, Shelton Benjamin, Carlito, Santino Marella, the runner-up from last year's Royal Rumble, Shawn Michaels, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, and the Great Khali. Now, this Monday night on Raw, Triple H gets one last shot to qualify for the Royal Rumble match as he faces an unknown opponent. Certainly I'll be talking about that next week. Now, last week I did the Royal Rumble trivia question, and once again WWE JTH got this right. The only other state to hold the Royal Rumble back-to-back years was in California for 1998 and 1999. Now, in fact, he suggested, and I took his suggestion, WWE JTH gets all the credit for this week, he gave us the Royal Rumble Fact of the Week, which goes into the trivia question. The Royal Rumble Fact of the Week is that The Undertaker is the only man in the history of the Royal Rumble to draw number 30 3 times. Also, as we all know, The Undertaker is the only man in the history of the Royal Rumble to draw number 30 and win. Now, this week's Royal Rumble question does involve the number 30 position. Can you name for me the only man to have ever drawn number 30 and be in only one Royal Rumble match? Can you name the man who drew number 30 and was only in one Royal Rumble? Of course, that does it for the Royal Rumble report this week. When I come back, TNA and Ring of Honor. Don't you dare go away.